sockeye hatchery was instigated, and it ran for almost 30 years to 1933. And that was located just across the Birkenhead, on the other side of the Birkenhead River from the current Owl Creek campsite, which most of you have probably been down here. And that hatchery was established to improve the run of sockeye. Sockeye have this dominant cycle, which most of you probably have heard of. Every 4 years, there's a big bump in the population. And biologists to this day really don't know why that happens, but they thought that there's no reason why the three runs in between the dominant one shouldn't also be as plentiful as the dominant run. And it's quite a variation. It can be 300,000 fish for the dominant run and down to 20 or 30,000 for the weaker run. So the idea of the hatchery was so we would have a constant 300,000 run years of sockeye. And so they established the hatchery, and that was a totally self-contained hatchery. As George has pointed out to me before, I thought that they immobilized from Vancouver and came up the Douglas Trail and that route, but apparently they came around the Lillooet Way and down Anderson Lake, and it was whatever it was it was about a 6-week trip, and obviously you couldn't be running back in Vancouver for every time you needed something, so they had a fully established community, including gardens, orchards, shops, residences, the whole works, for I think a population of 20 or 30 people there. And that went on for about 30 years. Unfortunately, they didn't solve the problem of improving the population in those intervening years, and the hatchery was shut down. And now I have been meaning to go over there for years just to see what I can see, but apparently there is the odd little artifact covered over with moss and things on the other side of the river. It would be possible to find some things there. There's some old archival pictures that I got from years ago. The picture on the left is actually a weir that they would use to trap the sockeye. They don't have sockeye hatcheries as such anymore. The sockeyes enhancement is all done with spawning channels, but in those days it was done by just the way we do with trout and salmon, by other salmon, by stripping the fish and incubating the eggs and doing it that way. Now they don't have that; they just do the spawning channels, and so that was an attempt to capture the broodstock, and they would incubate up to 20 million eggs, and hand pick now they have also centrifugal machines and everything to weed out the fungus eggs. In those days, they hand picked every one of those 20 million eggs, and that's why they had to have so many people working there, I guess. So that was shut down. So 1970, actually late 60s, Jan and I moved to Pemberton. Oh, I forgot, before that, 1938, I was born. That's not true. In the late 1970s, the federal government, Department of Fisheries and Oceans, established this they call the Salmon Enhancement Program, which I'm sure you've heard of in the past. And as part of the Salmon Enhancement Program, the stock assessment was carried out on the whole Lillooet drainage, the Lillooet-Birkenhead drainage, to see if there was something that could be done to restore the salmon stocks. The mandate of the Salmon Enhancement Program was to reestablish the runs of salmon to their historical levels. That was a very, very ambitious project, and really it hasn't really achieved what it set out to for all sorts of reasons.